Gamers of Reddit, what's the most wholesome interaction you had in gaming that you'll never forget? Was playing GTA Online late at night, and I was riding around on a BMX, enjoying the scenery. This one guy comes full speed ahead at me in his vehicle. I think he's gonna kill me, as everyone does when they see me riding a BMX peacefully. Instead, he stops, looks at me for a few minutes and speeds off. A couple minutes after, same dude shows up with his own yellow BMX. We rode together around the streets of the city. It was cool. My music playing while riding around with someone who also wanted to chill. He eventually led me to this skate park, and for the next hour we just did tricks, failing to land on each trick lol, and he randomly disconnected from the game. Made me sad, but I'm glad I met someone who rode with me. This was the hottest shit ever. My second would be meeting up with this guy on this exact platform. We ended up playing BF1, and added each other and kept playing for a couple months. He's too busy to play nowadays, but I'll never forget him. He helped and gave me advice when I was going through my first breakup, was feeling suicidal depressed. And when I got kicked out by my mom at one point because of my mental health. I am forever grateful that he managed to make time for some guy across the world while he was having a child, recently moved, busy with work, and life in general. If you're reading this, I hope everything's well in Canada. And I'm glad you showed me kindness and compassion when I was in a rough spot. I have been playing CSGO with some friends of mine since 5-6 years now, and most of them know me from my in-game name, and don't know my real name and haven't met me ever. They came to know that I have lost my parents, and all our bank accounts and cards were on their name. I was managing finances and business, but I was working as an employee. All the money was locked for a year since we had no legal airproof thing. My friends wired me a significant amount of money, around half of my year's worth income, and said we won't ask you to return this money ever. You will return it if you can. If you can't, no issues. Needless to say, I was in tears. I worked, I lived. When I used to enjoy a little, those guys didn't judge me at all. I returned the money a year later and I am pretty sure I wouldn't have survived if they didn't help. Thanks Season, Unknown, Widowmaker and Fear, pretty badass names for guys with massive amount of generosity. Back in the day I'd play COD Zombies and I was really shit at it. I'd play online and just constantly get roasted and abused. One time I joined a game with two other dudes, and it turns out it was a father and son duo. We got to talking and turns out these guys were wizards at zombies, and were like, no problem man, come hang with us. They carried my sorry ass for so many rounds and I had so much fun, it was just awesome. I'll never forget those dudes. It's been like 10 to 12 years maybe, and I always think can't wait till I have a kid and they are old enough, hopefully into games, and we can just hang out and play together. When Classic was re-released, I was playing WoW. I was in the Alliance. I saw a Horde member who was grinding by themselves, and used my priest abilities to control their mind and heal them. They were a druid, so they turned into a wolf, and jumped around me in thanks. We then helped each other grind for a bit. For those that don't know, Horde and Alliance members can't communicate via chat, so we had to use in-game body language only. Ended up seeing them in another area much later. Went up and jumped up and down and they did the same. I hope it was because they remembered me. Cousin Larry, if you're out there, I remember you. No comment. Take my upvote. Couldn't tell you a particular moment, more like a few years. Halo Reach, I was one of those randoms you come across in BTB. Did decent in a game and dude told me to roll with him, and introduced me to some of his other teammates. Thus years of BTB always with an 8-man lobby. Was great, cracking jokes, making strategy, insane objective runs, and talking shit when we came across another 8-man lobby, lol. Good times man. 10 plus years later our numbers have dwindled, but still got a core group I play with. Also I see you replying to everyone's comment. Good shit OP. Hope you have some great memories of gaming yourself. Man, that is the definition of wholesome, spending times playing games, and it's still awesome you got people to play with even if the number decreased. Doesn't matter, what matters is the good memories. Also thanks. I do have a wholesome moment. I remember playing Black Ops 2 on the PS3 with someone back in 2013. We would spend a lot of time playing. We would stay up all night even with our time zone difference. He stopped playing in mid 2014ish since he got a PS4. In Christmas of 2016, he came on and I immediately joined him. He asked me why I don't play with him anymore. I told him that I couldn't afford a PS4. Legend then asked me for my PayPal and proceeded to give me $500 to buy a PS4 and some games and play with him. And I still have it till this day. When Tiny Tina's Wonderlands first came out, I got to the end game, and someone gave me some hack modded grenade launcher that did an absolutely ridiculous amount of damage. That allowed me to grind out a bunch of levels and acquire an absolute fork ton of legendaries. Then I was playing online with strangers and just decided to unload every legendary I had onto the floor. You should have heard how excited these noob kids were on voice chat, geeking the hell out. It warmed my heart. I had a college job which included living on campus over the summer with my male and female co-workers. I was the only gamer of the group and I brought my PS3. I was playing Heavy Rain and a couple of co-workers were watching. A couple turned into my whole dorm filled with about 8 co-workers, all making the decisions and me just pressing the buttons. We got down to some serious discussions about what we would do next. I remember one time we had to decide killing someone or not, and an emotional, albeit not too serious, debate broke out, with some people wanting to go through with it and others pleading the fact that we had gotten so far without doing it. To date, one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had with other people. And I was the only gamer of the whole crew. It was also around a time that Roger Ebert had claimed video games were not art, and this event was one of the best personal reasons I know that they are. Back in the days of the first Diablo game, a guy randomly popped into my game and gave me some awesome loot, then stuck with me and guided me all the way to the end. I was probably about halfway through, but this dude was kind of my Sherpa. He didn't do much fighting and he would heal me when things got dicey. He claimed he just liked helping people beat the game, then he left. Crazy experience that I still remember. What, 25 years later? Holy shit, the exact same thing happened to me in Diablo 3. He dropped a ton of gear and money for my demon hunter, then sped me through leveling up. I wonder if it was the same guy. My guy, this is the type of experience that'll stick to you for a lifetime. Thanks for sharing your story. I didn't realize the first game had actually had co-op multiplayer. Would have been fun, I'd imagine. People do that in Diablo regularly. It's really awesome. Played a few games with this one guy over the last week. I barely knew him, but he enjoyed my company. He randomly asked me which skin I liked the most for my favorite character, and amp. I couldn't decide between two. He ends up buying me both his own real money, as a gift. We never kept in touch as the years passed, but I guess I never really forgot about it. He really enjoyed your company to gift you skins. That's the type of friendships that are sacred in gaming. Thanks for sharing your story. What game was that? League of Legends. Had a crap day at school and was feeling shitty. I got online and joined a voice chat with 2 newly found friends, maybe like a month since I met them. Normally with these voice chats will connect the audio just before your name appears, saying that you had joined the voice chat. So when I had joined, could hear them say, "Hey, it's my name, the guy everyone likes." At the time I had severe social anxiety and felt like I always annoyed everyone I met. But that one single sentence stuck with me, and I think that it helped me through a lot of my anxiety, at least when I was with them. Fast forward a couple of years and we are all still best friends and play games with each other a few times a week. No words, man, no words. This made my night. I can relate so much. I have vicarious gratitude. Well, glad I'm not the only one, haha. I've got a pretty good Mickey Mouse impression and I did it for some 5-year-old kid in Fortnite. He was so happy he called his mom onto the mic and she said, "Thanks for doing this, he's been having a hard time at school." Oh god. I am not sobbing, I am. Oh dude, I can instantly switch between both a Mickey and a Goofy and have a conversation with myself. I should try that sometime. Friend and I met on a forum for the same game. When the third game released, I took a week off from work to marathon it. I get to the last level, buddy calls me and I mention that I'm pretty close to the end and about to beat the game. He bursts into tears and asks to stay on the line while I did so. I am very mentally ill, suicidal even. When we first met as teenagers, neither of us really knew if I'd make it to 20. Our frequent in-joke was that I had to survive at least until the third game was released. It meant so much to him that I was still here to play the game with him, and he stayed on the line for about an hour encouraging me and telling me how happy he was to have this day come. Now our in-joke is that we are going to play the fourth one together with our children, so I have to make it to that release. What game series? If you don't mind, Kingdom Hearts actually. When he proposed, it was naturally with a papa fruit-shaped ring. I met these Philippine brothers in an MMORPG. Carried them from around level 40-100, about a month grinding, became good friends. Shortly after, for some reason, I quit the game. I think at the time it was just too hard not being in the best clan, pretty much left you with scraps. 4 years later I get back, check the friends list and nada. Disappointed with my character, I made a new one, and a little over a year later I see one of the brothers all decked out in the main area of the game. So I let him know it's me, but because the game's riddled with scammers. He gives me a test on the anime, music and all the stuff we used to talk about. When accepting it really was me, the dude psyched out saying he thought he'd never see me again and that he wanted to thank me for being the reason he kept playing, because the reason I left was why he would have left if I hadn't helped, and that's a feeling I can't explain. That feeling is called friendship. Thanks for your story, man. World of Warcraft years. Way back in a day. Playing at 4 AM, met few other female characters in Gold Tier and started role playing as feminist, not feminazi. Decided that we'll strip our characters, as much as WoW allows, and did feminist march towards Stormwind, about 10 minutes on walk mode, not running. Did a round around Stormwind as well, typing feminist manifesto in zone chat. TLDR, had early morning feminist march in WoW. Totally wholesome interaction with other gamers up at that time. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I went online, looking for a group of hunters to just chill and have fun with. I was still a newbie, with a broken, almost skill-less set. All I knew is that there was a Mega Man Palico armor in the game, and I wanted it. Those guys, 2 dudes and a girl, took 30 minutes guiding me through the game. In the lobby. Using the shitty 2 words at a time 3DS chat system. Explaining armor points, stuff about the game, how to learn monster patterns. And then, they told me the Mega Man armor is G rank. Want us to carry you? No, I'd rather climb these solo to not be a burden later, and face tank stuff till I triple cart. Mad respect, dude. In that case, check the quest list. Let's farm you something. What do you mean? Charge blade. I entered that lobby in a shit armor. I left in a full Celtis set, screaming my ass off. It wasn't the only time. These guys were my homies. I played so much with them, and learned a lot. And it's not isolated. Outside of the rare set cheaters, hunters in those lobbies were so welcoming it isn't even funny. It's been years since I'm sitting in front of a PC I custom built to run Monster Hunter World Rise and Guilty Gear Strive, specifically, with a Pudgy plush on top of it. And I'm proud to call myself an old school monster hunter. Congratulations for making it till the end. Please smash that like and subscribe button for 1 million years of good lucks.